Today's show will be dedicated to the immortal Lenny Bruce. And today's guests are Lenny's closest friend, the very talented comedian Sandy Baron, Lenny's mother, Miss Sally Marr, and the versatile actress, singer, and I might add, quite sexy, Miss Annie Gabus. And now, here he is, Hollywood's one-of-a-kind, Skip E. Lowe.
We have a great show in store for you today. This show is dedicated to one of America's great entertainers, a great comedian, and a great guy. Ladies and gentlemen, the late Lenny Bruce, I would like to dedicate this show to. It's his birthday today, I understand. And we have his mother here today, who is a wonderful woman, Miss Sally Marr. And also we have Lenny's best friend, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sandy Baron. Come on, let's hear it out there.
Wait. Thank you, sir. Well, I just want to make one correction.
Right.
I wasn't Lenny's best friend. I was lucky enough to play him.
Oh, you weren't?
And I knew him. No.
Oh,
I knew him, and I was lucky enough to play him. But I'm sure
I
played Lenny on Broadway and out here. But I wasn't his best friend. That would be a lie. There'd be 15 guys who would kill me tomorrow at Schwab's. 15 people at Schwab's would destroy my life if I ever said I was his best friend.
Okay, but anyway.
But I'll tell you how I am his best friend in a certain way, or grateful anyway. That part of friendship. Because if we're celebrating Lenny's birthday, I think, Skip, if you don't mind,
yes,
the first thing to remind some people who may not realize this out loud anyway, maybe it was never said, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to say it, but guys like me, or Richard Pryor,
right,
or George Carlin,
that's right,
or Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira, or Joan Rivers, or Robert Klein, or David Steinberg, maybe, or David Brenner, or Saturday Night Live, or Laugh-In, or All in the Family, and like that, never could have earned a living.
I see.
Because Lenny was the one that had the guts and the imagination.
He was the one who started
to bust
it all
the barriers
right.
that people always knew were full of shit and
That's
they
right.
believe weren't.
That's right. He started it all. He was the original one. Sally?
It started in the cradle.
Is that where it started?
That's
in
right.
the cradle?
It started in the cradle when his mother...
He was the original too. Here's the original one.
Right.
No.
Boots.
No, I used the name Boots Malone when I first came out here. That was Lenny's idea. He was working burlesque, and I had a group with Jackie Gale, and I was going back to New York, Sally Moore and the Escorts.
I know he worked burlesque.
I was a stand-up comic.
Right.
You know that,
Yeah. I know he worked burlesque because you know why? I subbed in for him on Pico and Western Avenue.
Oh, did you know that?
I subbed for Lenny on Pico in the strip joint on his night off, and I got $25. Some agent.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it?
$25 a night.
Isn't it amazing, Skip, that let's say you took brilliant material,
right,
and you put it on a scale, and you said, I wonder where that kind of brilliance came from. He probably worked concerts where everybody was quiet and adorable and well-behaved.
Right.
And that's how come he had the time and the freedom to invent all this genius material.
Yeah.
But that ain't the way it happened. The amazing thing about it is he worked the single toughest sewers and garbage cans in the universe.
Toughest.
And still managed to form this absolutely beautiful material. That's why I think Lenny's very important to other comedians, only because once you've studied his material, I mean, in my case, I studied it to play it, but even before I was lucky enough to play it, I was studying it.
Right.
You know, it's a fancy word for semi-rip-off. But I was studying it for sure, and I realized that the best thing to remember about Lenny was the quality of the material and the delivery. So that when you're beginning to feel that you're getting terrific, he's a perfect reminder you're not, and you got plenty to go.
Right.
And that's a very valuable man.
But he had a lot of hecklers in his day, right, Sally? That's when show business, where you can handle hecklers in strip joints. We had hecklers those days.
Yeah, but he handled them very
He handled them great.
They didn't bother him.
No.
And he handled them very good-naturedly.
Yes.
You know, there was when he worked Ann's 440, you know, the first time he'd worked in San Francisco, and there was a heckler back there swearing his head off, and Lenny's trying to do an impression of James Dean with a piece of straw. And Lenny, the actor, loved to show his profile. And he was doing it, and the guy kept saying, Lenny, don't let me a drink, or Christ sake, what the hell kind of a shit out of this, or screaming and swearing. And then he kept quiet, and I thought, what's he going to do now in the middle of his act? He let him talk, he let him swear about 3 or 4 times, and finally said, name dropper!
Lenny Lenny wanted to be a dancer.
No, you're wrong.
No? Am I?
No.
And here I'm on
Lenny
the
was
second
a
one.
klutz. I don't think you have much information.
clubs.
Where am I going? I don't
I don't know
know.
where you got all. I had a dancing school
Uh-huh.
for years.
Oh, you had the
And in
dancing school.
1942, I became a stand-up comic. And did you know, for some information,
Uh-huh.
I was the first female stand-up comic in New York City.
I didn't know that.
Now you know it.
No,
Now
yeah.
the world knows it. Now the whole world knows it.
And your name
right?
was not Sally Marr at that
Sally
time.
Marr.
Was it Sally Marr?
Yes, Sally
Yes?
Marr.
I see.
I changed it for a while because I didn't think I was going to stay out here.
Did you work the Catskills and all that?
No, I was a flop.
Uh-huh.
I really was a flop in the Catskills. I
Uh-huh.
was doing a satire on Lady Macbeth. Hark to the voice of my father, the words easy to speak. What did she say?
Perfect for the Concord. Perfect.
I really was a flop.
A satire of
But
Macbeth.
I'll tell you what was funny is when I was walking into the places and the women that stopped me and said, "What are you doing? Where are you running?" I says, "I'm going to rehearse." "Rehearse what? What do you do?" I said, "Sing, I dance, I talk." "Oh, so you talk?" "I talk too. What else do you do?" "Gee, what do you do in the wintertime?" I said, "I wear a coat." Now, when I left there, that was the material that I used to get laughs somewhere else. Where the Jewish people ate ham.
I see.
It was a different element.
And you did Lenny on Broadway.
Yeah, I
What year was
replaced
that in? I saw it with
Cliff Gorman.
Cliff Gorman
Cliff was
before I went to
wonderful,
Europe.
yeah,
See, I
and
was in
then
Europe when you did it. And I didn't see you. I heard you were fabulous.
I was terrific.
Yes, you were.
And
You were
shy.
fabulous.
And
That's-
wait, she said the best. Hold it, I want this recorded. And I'm shy and modest. No, I think I was wonderful.
Yes.
I think that, you know, I don't want to play fake cute. I don't think I was wonderful in everything I ever did, so I have the right to say it in this one.
Yes.
I was wonderful, number one, because in some crazy way it felt so damn natural. I had already known Sally when I first came out here to do my first series, Hey Landlord. She befriended me and began moving me in and out of the LA people she knew I had to know to stay what she called New York funny, energy funny.
Yes, right.
And if not, you become like Mr. Adorable situation comedy. And she was wonderful to me, and I knew Kitty, and I had always felt
Kitty is
something.
his wife.
No,
I mean, his daughter.
Is his daughter.
I know. I wish I'd guessed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. His daughter.
His daughter's
Yeah,
name is Kitty
Kitty.
Bruce.
He's talking about Lenny Bruce, the
Lenny-
ventriloquist, another
No,
guy.
Oh, I know.
No, I know it.
It's a funny show.
It's another guy. It's his birthday too. He works on
October
Fairfax.
13th.
What the hell are you doing here?
Where is Kitty now?
Kitty is
Kitty's singing.
Oh,
She's
by
singing.
the way, she's working with George Carlin,
Uh-huh.
and I guess
She's
she enjoys
wonderful.
listening to
I
her
hear she is.
father's
Yeah.
act.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. She's sexy on stage.
Oh,
She's
the
attractive.
She works back
She's
east.
not frightened.
Most-
She,
Oh, what- great
she
presence.
sings jazz, blues, rock.
Yes.
Now
Yeah,
she
she's
became
damn
a
good.
rock singer with
She's
her
a rock
own group. She's working with George Carlin, and she's recording for a label. I don't know
Great.
why.
I'm saying all these nice things about her because I don't want her to do jokes. I'm afraid
Yeah.
maybe she inherited something.
She did.
And it's
she
an-
does.
Now, getting back, what year was this you did Lenny on Broadway?
Lenny was 71
And you did it,
into
how long,
72.
how long did you do it?
I did it 3 months on Broadway. I replaced Gorman. I got really good reviews.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then we brought it here to the Aquarius Theater in Los Angeles, where it was a smash. And then, here's the one that interested me, was in San Diego. And
Yeah, I remember you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I want to talk about San Diego is, forget me for the minute,
Yes.
because it was one of those theaters called, what the hell was it? The Off-Broadway Theater in San Diego. And they played summer packages, adorable little innocent, non-offensive, no way out. You couldn't offend anybody on the earth. Like Eve Arden in How's Your Summer House? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whatever it is.
Yes.
That kind of summer package. Van Johnson and Tiptoe Through the Tulips. Nice and warm and family and American and true. Wait. Now watch. The power of the attraction of honest comedy. Lenny Bruce stood for everything that they were afraid the San Diego audiences hated.
That's right.
San Diego was a conservative, retired Navy
Right.
town. They had a couple of colleges. They were afraid all the kids were like born-again Christian, right-wing, superb conservatives of America. They thought we would die. We went in for 3 weeks. You could not buy a seat, and they extended us for 3 more. Had never been done in the history of the theater. Standing ovations every night, and I accept some of that. I was good. But you know what they were really applauding? They were applauding Lenny's audacity.
That's what.
They were applauding Lenny's guts because no matter what they were feeling politically, socially, you know, what's good taste, what ain't, what's
Right.
clean, what's dirty, they knew that they were watching something so goddamn powerful and real that there was no way you couldn't respect it.
Well, did you know?
And that's what knocked me out. Not L.A. and New York. Who didn't think it would be a hit
San
in New York or
Diego.
L.A.?
Wait a minute.
But San Diego.
San
Yeah.
Diego. What
Yeah.
about Broadway? Do you know what
Yeah.
I observed?
Were you there
All
before
those,
me?
No, well, all those women from the B'nai B'rith and the Hadessas. And
Loved it.
They loved it, yes.
Slav.
They
Wait
loved
a
it.
minute. They wouldn't go to see him alive, but after
they-
he passed away, it was all right to pay 10 and
Yes.
15 and $20
Yeah.
for a ticket. Because Lenny was, Lenny wasn't here anymore. It's okay
Yes,
now.
Right.
I think that was part of it, but also it comes back to what I said at the beginning. And if I sound heavy, I apologize, but it is a birthday show, and I want him to get all the gifts that it is.
Right. He deserves
Which is
it.
some out loud thank yous.
Right.
The truth is, the reason they could laugh by the time it got to Broadway and all the rest of it, and it was a genius production. Tom O'Hagan was wonderful. Marvin Worth had guts. The Jules Fisher, the lighting guy, the writer, everybody was terrific. By the time I got there,
Julian Barry.
Julian Barry,
Wrote
thank you.
it.
By the time I got there, a lot of work had been done, so I was lucky. I mean, I added
Yeah.
my thing.
Yes, right.
But the truth of the matter is that Lenny was there in spirit, because you couldn't even have thought of doing a play like that on Broadway, which is about 10 years more conservative than San Diego, even though they think they're hip.
Yes.
Very conservative.
He said to me, "What do you think about the show?" I said, "I saw it on Broadway with Cliff Gorman." And I said, and somebody said to me, "What did you think of everybody that played Lenny?" I said, "The only one that ever played Lenny that I thought was Lenny was Sandy." They said, "Really?"
That's what they said.
Thank you,
Well,
Sal.
You're the mother. You should know.
So I said,
That's
"Wait a
right.
minute." I said, "I'm the real critic."
That's
I
right.
said, "That was my kid."
That's right.
And ask him what I did the night that I saw that play.
Yeah.
What did
She walked out in one scene and cried.
No, I
We
walked
went to
out,
one
I
scene in
got in my
Act Two.
car,
Yeah.
and before I knew it, I was in Malibu, and I never drive away from Hollywood. And I'm in Malibu. You know how funny that
Where
was?
she met my mother, who was crying at the pain that I was play acting. It wasn't even real. So the two of them were on a bench near the water. It was impossible. You couldn't live with these people.
Did you have anything to do with Lenny's movie?
I had
for
everything to do.
Marvin
I had
Worth, huh?
everything to do with it.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you
because
advised.
when Lenny passed away, I just knew that some schmucks were going to take his material. I just knew it. And they were going to misunderstand it, and they were just going to tear it to shreds, and it was going to be a dirty movie. And Lenny wasn't dirty.
Great.
It's like I hear people saying four-letter words, and I'd love to walk up to them and say, "Why are you saying that? You must tell me why you're saying those words," because my son didn't talk that way. He really didn't. So I don't think anybody really listened to Lenny's material. I really wish everybody go out there and try to get an album just to listen to what he had to say. And the words that he used was just something to throw it across, to punch it
Yes.
out.
Well, there's a difference. If every once in a while he used a word,
Well,
Yes.
so did I for years.
wait. He didn't pick the word because, oh boy, look, I'll show them that I know the
Yeah.
word.
Word, right.
The word, usually it was, he was doing a routine, and here's him talking his hymn, and then he would describe, let's say, a store owner he had met. And the store owner would say, "Rah, rah, rah, rah." So the language, when it was off color, was coming from the character's mouth, very rarely Lenny's mouth. He was depicting a character he was inventing, and he knew in his head that that character would talk like that. If you're going to make believe you're a gangster for 15 seconds to get a laugh, gangsters do not talk like people with doctorate
Right,
degrees.
right.
They talk like gangsters.
Right.
So if you... So you're going to use that language. But
Yeah.
Lenny himself didn't use the words the way a lot of the young comics do now, which I see. Now I'm going to be called an old Jewish dying man. Watch. I can't go to the Improv anymore. It's
Or
over.
the Comedy Store.
It's over
right.
for me in
No,
3
no,
places
no.
in L.A.
No, be honest.
But
you
the
know.
truth of the matter
Right.
is that to say the word if it fits the material
Right.
is more than accurate. You're allowed.
Yes, yes.
But to say it so you prove you're hip ain't hip.
Thank you. Sandy, you're absolutely right.
You know, it's not black or white. It's
Yeah.
not that either you never say the word
Yeah.
and you try to make believe you're the most innocent person on the earth and everybody
Yes.
knows you're full of shit.
Yes.
And it also isn't the other way, where you got to talk like a sewer just to prove it's the 20th century.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lenny never did that.
No. No.
Well, you know, he wasn't a follower.
Yeah.
Now, you know, people, somebody once interviewed Lenny, and they said, "Where did you learn how to use those words?" He said, "What do you mean learn? Don't doctors talk like that at home? Don't professors say, hey, screw you?" He said, "My mother's always
That's
used that
natural, right,
language,
right,
and I didn't
right.
think anything."
Yes.
My mother would say, I would tell her something, and she'd say, "Oh, screw him." Well, maybe not the average mother talked like that to her child.
Yes.
He said, "Well, my mother did. My mother was a very liberated, free spirit." He said, so she wasn't the ordinary lady, and not a question of being Jewish, Irish, or,
Yes.
or French. She was just a very honest woman, that whatever she said, whatever she thought about, she would say it. And you would have
Where did he meet his wife, honey?
In Baltimore.
In Baltimore, in a strip club, right? When he
Yeah.
worked there, yeah, right. Which club was that?
No, I don't think that it was a...
I worked a
she
club there,
worked in the
too.
Club Charles.
Charles, right,
And
that's-
he worked
yeah.
in another club. and they met, what was that little...
In a delicatessen or something?
It was a delicatessen where I used to go with Tubby Boots and all those people.
He introduced him, yeah.
Yeah, Tubby.
They both worked at the Club Charles and another club, I can't think of the name.
Lord Buckley started around there too, wasn't he around there,
It's
Lord
too bad.
Buckley?
He's just on his records. Somebody's making some noise about Buckley now.
Buckley, yeah, right.
It's too bad
I
he
think-
never had the guts to do it then.
Yeah. How's Lenny's records doing, albums? It's
Still doing good. It's
very
on
good.
cassettes now.
It's great,
and, yeah, a lot of things are happening.
What are you doing, Sandy, at the moment?
I just finished, thank God, Woody Allen's next movie.
You did? Ah.
Yeah, it's called Broadway Danny Rose. And it'll be out January 27th, I think he said, 28th, something like that. Broadway Danny. It's a very funny movie, very
Just saw you
charming
on TV,
movie.
you know. Just a few days ago, you were on with Gina Rollins, I think. Was that great? You were just great.
Thank you.
You were just
But
great.
this-
What was the name of
this
that movie?
Woody-
I just forgot the name.
I don't remember.
It was great. It was great.
I don't remember.
John Cassavetes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Film.
John,
It was a great film. You
something
did
with a
wonderful.
housewife or
Yes,
something.
you were
And tell
wonderful.
them what we're doing.
but
What are you
not we, you. I'm only helping.
Okay.
We're putting a book together for Sally
You're
What
kidding.
about
in her
Then
autobiography.
I know the real Lenny. Right?
Oh, how wonderful. That's
Yeah.
You're doing it? You're helping it?
I'm helping her the same way you're helping us at this moment. I used to host a talk show, so
Right,
I know how
you
to
did.
ask questions. I'm just going to sit with Sally and ask the questions that I think people would want to know the answers to.
Right.
And then she'll go. That's all. And it'll be the first time maybe in the history of books where it won't be edited, it won't be reshaped, quote unquote, to
Right.
make it a book, which he said is what will be the book. Because you can't edit this mouth anyway, so
Yeah, you can edit this mouth.
know.
You really have to put your foot in my mouth.
Oh, you're adorable.
you can't edit. You
love
cannot edit a waterfall.
He's doing an album.
Yeah, you are
He's doing
doing
an
it?
album.
Really missed you, Sandy. I was just wondering where...
I took-
You're an S, right?
I'm an S graduate.
You're an S graduate?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me about S.
Can't you
I
tell
really
he
don't...
smokes?
What is S all about?
S is a 2-weekend training thing that is put together in a way to make you face yourself with no
Right.
distractions for 2 weekends. That's the way I word it. I don't like all that consciousness
Yeah.
that's attached to it. It's your consciousness has to be raised if for 2 weekends there's no way out for you. You can't take a snack break whenever you want to. You can't go to the bathroom whenever you want to. You can't smoke. So for 2 weekends, even though you're in a room with 250 other people,
Right.
in an odd way, you're totally alone, and you got to ask yourself all the stuff you sometimes evade.
Yeah.
So it gets you very elated at your life when you come through the 2 weekends because you realize, hey, no matter what went down, you're here. It's all okay.
I really benefited.
That's the point.
from
You
it.
look great, I
Did
must
you know
say.
that?
Yeah.
Did you know I benefited from EST? I never went to EST because I thought I wrote the book anyway.
How did you benefit from it?
A girl that went to EST sent me a mink coat and my granddaughter, a diamond ring. This is only 3 weeks
Interesting.
ago. And rubies and diamonds and diamond earrings. She went to EST and she found out that it wasn't in the mink and I got the coat and I wouldn't wear it because I said I'd never wear a Jewish uniform.
That girl got it, and you
And
got
I
the
got-
ring. I think you did better. I think you got both.
Well, then I think they pay a high price for me.
Lenny, Sandy,
Sorry.
you look absolutely great.
Thank you.
Yeah, he looks
Thank you.
fabulous.
I'm a little too chubby.
Ask me what I'm
But
doing.
except
What
for
are
that,
you
I'm
doing,
Well, I'm
darling?
auditioning for movies and for
Yeah. I'm running. Ask me what she's doing.
Ask me
She's
what I'm-
running people's lives.
I love her.
presenting the first gay comedian. There's been a million gay comedians.
What? You're presenting what?
Falstaff.
A gay
Falstaff.
comedian?
Yeah, but I want it
Really?
out in the open
Is she
because since Yentl and coming out and she and Victoria and Jack Lemmon wore dresses for years, nobody ever pointed their finger and said, "Hey, you know, I think."
Would you point your finger over there,
Is he
please?
going to be in men's clothes for this gay comic?
No,
or
this
just,
guy has
yeah.
been working for years, but he never worked to gay audiences ever.
I saw him at
Ever.
the E Little Club
Falstaff.
in Beverly Hills years ago.
Yeah,
he was
I
there.
think so.
Good.
Yeah,
And 6 years
yeah.
ago, he just copped out.
Yeah.
I said, why? I said, you think I'm going to stay in the Comedy Store with all those kids and wait to go on? He says, I can't do it.
Isn't that the one was a priest?
Falstaff. No, that was...
Who am I thinking was a priest and then became a comedian?
Sister Teresa.
Right. Well, anyway. So he's going to be the only gay comic around. You're going to...
No, there's a lot of gay comics.
Right.
I've been gay comics for years. But nobody's really come out in the open and say, listen, I've got a gay comic that can go out and say I'm gay.
Yes, yes.
And I told him, I said, since La Cage aux Folles on Broadway,
Yes.
they sold more tickets in 1 week than West Side Story sold in 6 months. That's history.
I know, yes.
Doesn't that tell you where
Yeah.
the world is at?
True.
That I said, you can come out and do all that and say, well, here I am. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to say,
That's right.
They didn't say it to Jack Lemmon.
Yes.
They didn't say it to Tootsie.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And now you mean I could be a person like everybody
Yes.
else?
Oh, that's great. That's great.